Benue State Education Quality Assurance Agency BEQA says it encountered resistance during an evaluation exercise at Ogmat Secondary School, Yakio, in Makadi, the Benue State capital. According to the agency, officials from the Federal Education Quality Assurance Services and BEQA, upon arrival at the school for the scheduled evaluation, the coordinating evaluator, Sadiq Ali, and the Director General BEQA, Dr. Tena Francis, and their teams demanded to see the school's administrators, but discovered that the principal, vice principals, academics, and administration planned their absence in a bid to prevent the evaluation process. It said the management of the school had, upon receipt of the evaluation exercise, made attempts to compromise the officials towards its cancellation, stating that the Director General of BEQA, who led his team, vacated the premises, saying the school was not ready and willing to undergo the whole school evaluation, warning that such action could affect its operating approvals. It indicated that the BEQA chief executive and his team also carried out routine monitoring of other schools and expressed concerns regarding excessive charges, second-term admission into Senior Secondary School 3, and the need for thorough lesson plan assessments. It further stated that the Director General BEQA demanded the principals to refund excess charges of WAEC and NECO to students in the respective schools, and also gave out the agency's official contact for feedback arising from the directive. Other than that, agencies are reviewing the actions of Ogmat Secondary School for further action. Reacting principal of Ogmat Secondary School, Mr. Gabriel Wasachi, denied the allegation that the school resisted evaluation. According to him, the school had written to the Federal Education Quality Assurance Services informing it that the management team of the school will not be available on the scheduled date. Other than that, the team visited when the school's principal and other management members were away attending the funeral of the father of one of its staff. There have been growing concerns over the increased rate of divorce cases in the society, leading persons to bear their minds on the situation, attributing it to lack of understanding among couples. Speaking on the matter, Mr. Benjamin Ejahino, who said he has enjoyed his marital bliss for 40 years, listed 3 factors including lack of understanding, sacrifice, and impatience as responsible for broken marriages, stressing that couples must study and understand their partners and spend more time together for stronger union. On her part, Mrs. Honey Agada revealed that she has been in union with her husband for 9 years and attributed the high-level broken unions to lack of preparedness among couples, noting that most people get married out of pressure. She advised those willing to marry to imbibe the virtues of patience, as love alone is not enough to sustain marriages, noting that the presence of Jesus in a union strengthens bonds. Commenting, a marriage counselor, Dr. Victoria Dow, attributed the increase in broken marriages to the inability of partners to study their spouses before getting married, stressing that the situation has posed threats to families, especially in children. She charged those facing crisis in their marriages and intending couples to seek counsel from their parents, spiritual fathers, and marriage counselors after a thorough monitoring of the lifestyle of those that want to marry to avoid divorce. 2 divorcees who spoke to our correspondent on condition of anonymity said their marriages collapsed because they made wrong choices, explaining that it was a shameful experience, discovering that the persons they got married to came up with unpredictable characters, and they opted for divorce in order to stay alive. TV area traditional councils called on the Benue State government to direct security agencies in the state to rise to their task of defending the innocent poor citizens by enforcing the law prohibiting open grazing in the state. The council expressed worry over the influx of herdsmen in the state, wondering why, despite the open grazing prohibition and ranching establishment law of the state still in force, the herdsmen have returned, alleging that they are armed with dangerous weapons and grazing their livestock recklessly. The council, rising from an emergency meeting at the Toti Palace in Gboko, presided over by the chief paramount ruler, His Royal Majesty Professor James Ayatse, urged the state government to direct relevant security agencies in the state to rise to the challenge by enforcing the law. The council also found that the unauthorized manner chief youths recklessly announced the deaths of traditional rulers on social media platforms, describing the actions as abominable, and vowed to employ necessary punitive measures to curb the trend. The council mourned the deaths of its member, Eto Sankara, who was the first-class traditional ruler in charge of Katsinala, Logo, and Ukum local government areas, known as Sankara Intermediate Area, Chief Abu Shulua. It stated that before his death, Eto Sankara held the honorific chieftaincy title of the Sema Wanu Tiv and was also a member of the Benue State Council of Traditional Rulers. A statement by the Special Assistant to the Eto Tiv on Media and ICT, Freddie Adangbe, says the council directed its members to convene this Thursday at 12 noon at the Eto Tiv Palace in Gboko for a valedictory session in honor of the late Eto Sankara, before proceeding to Sankara. Medical laboratory investigation plays an important role in clinical diagnosis, as the result determines the treatment of patients in and out of the hospital. However, there are reported cases where misdiagnoses occur and people affected suffer as a result of it. Some medical personnel who spoke to Agate Radio explained the processes involved in clinical diagnosis and what could lead to wrong diagnostic measures. A laboratory technician, Rita Gusu, said what in some cases causes misdiagnosis was having inexperienced personnel to work in laboratories, stating that there are procedures to be followed to avoid cases of misdiagnosis, and once the right procedure is missed, the probability of having a wrong test result becomes high. On his part, a programs officer with Health Systems Diagnostics and Corrections, Austin Abu, said misdiagnosis in the laboratory can occur due to various reasons, including human error, equipment malfunction, sample contamination, and misinterpretation of results. He stated further that factors such as inadequate training, lack of communication, and insufficient quality control measures could contribute to diagnostic inaccuracies, urging healthcare professionals to continually enhance their skills, maintain strict quality assurance protocols, and foster a culture of open communication to minimize the risk of misdiagnosis. Also speaking, a resident of Makadi, Dolumun Otsiga, said he was a victim of misdiagnosis when his blood group was wrongly recorded as O positive after a laboratory test, but later discovered that his blood group is AB. He called on regulatory bodies to put in place strong regulatory evaluation and monitoring body to monitor laboratories, saying it will help curtail the excessive activities to avert life-threatening incidents. Commenting, a consultant family physician with the Federal Medical Center, Makadi, Dr. Andona Daniel, advised people to always consult a physician who will ascertain their symptoms and medical history before referring them for a laboratory test, stating that examining a patient gives the physician the idea on the diagnosis to request for. He urged people to avoid self-medication and stop going straight to the laboratory for tests without consulting a doctor. Eyelashes extensions are semi-permanent artificial lashes that are hand-glued individually to the natural hair to look real. The trend has gained popularity in contemporary fashion. Correspondent Theresa Amari, who sampled the opinions of young ladies on the matter, reports that most of them find it very pretty for its natural look. Speaking on the trend, Sophie No said lash extensions are very beautiful, but she prefers moderate ones that allow for a natural look to lengthy ones. For Naomi Akpa and Joy Ogu, though lash extensions come with a lot of maintenance rules, they are very pretty and boost the confidence of those who carry them. On her part, a stylist Precious Ella said there are of different types based on the volume and length, including the classic and hybrid, with the prices ranging from 12 to 20,000 naira and could be addictive. Commenting, an optometrist, Dr. Felicity Jimmy, stated that lash extensions have effects like allergy reactions, which may lead to eye injuries. She said lash extension also leads to eye infections due to the restriction of airflow into the eyes, and continuous fixing of artificial lashes could lead to the damage of the natural lashes. Other than that, ladies who practice this must maintain personal hygiene to avoid the allergic reactions. This news broadcast is reaching you from Agate Radio, 95.5 Star FM Makadi. Please stay tuned. From the national and international sense, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has cautioned medical facilities over the slow on non-compliance with provisions of the compulsory treatment and care for victims of gunshot. Coordinating minister in charge of the ministry, Professor Mohammed Pate, who gave the caution Tuesday, said gunshot victims come under medical emergencies that require urgent attention to save the life of the patient or victim. He expressed concern over the non-compliance to the compulsory treatment and care for victims of gunshot Act 2017 Act in most medical facilities. Professor Pater noted that the ministry is concerned about the spate of gunshot incidences and the refusal of some of the health facilities to administer treatment and care for the victim or patient without a police report. Director of Information in the Ministry, Patricia Deworiche, in a statement said the minister called on all medical practitioners to comply with the national law by providing prompt treatment and care for the victims to prevent death, emphasizing that strategies are being put in place by the ministry to ensure compliance to the Act. The minister also urged the police to comply with and enforce the provisions of the Act with promptness, reassuring health facilities in the country that treatment of gunshot victims is not illegal. Nigeria and Angola have reached a resolution on sharing technical expertise and knowledge in key sectors that can improve the lives of citizens, especially in the areas of water supply and hydropower generation. This followed an interface between the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utsev, and the Minister of State for Water Resources and Sanitation, Barrister Bello Gonrio, as well as the Angolan ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Jose Bamokwina, on Tuesday in Abuja. Speaking, Professor Utsev noted achieving access to clean and safe water for all requires support from Committee of Nations and critical stakeholders in the water and sanitation sector. Personal assistant on media and publicity to the minister, Tihemen Oraduen, in a statement said, Professor Utsev accepted the invitation extended to him by the Angolan ambassador to visit the country for a more robust partnership in other areas that are of mutual benefit. The Angolan ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Bamokwina, in his remarks explained that a visit was to seek more collaboration between his country and Nigeria to develop mineral resources the two countries have been endowed with, particularly water and electricity, as well as deepen the long-standing relationship that has existed between the two nations. He told the minister that Angola has enough electricity that can be exported to other countries and 6 major dams that needed technical expertise from Nigeria for expansion and effective utilization to enable his people enjoy potable water and improve irrigation farming. Leader of a starvation cult and dozens of his suspected accomplices have been charged over the murder of nearly 200 people in a forest near the Indian Ocean by Kenyan cart on Tuesday. The self-proclaimed pastor Paul Mackenzie, who has already been charged with terrorism, manslaughter, as well as child torture and cruelty, is alleged to have incited hundreds of his followers to starve to death in order to meet Jesus. Mackenzie and 29 other suspects pleaded not guilty to the 191 count charges of murder, while one of the suspects was deemed to lack the mental fitness to stand trial and was ordered to return to the Malindi High Court in a month's time. Mackenzie was arrested in April last year after bodies were found in the Shakahola forest, provoking horror across the world as autopsies revealed that the majority of the 429 victims died of hunger, while others, including children, appear to have been strangled, beaten, or suffocated. Stand by now for Afghan updates with Emmanuel Tiavia.
Angola head coach Pedro Goncalves has expressed his excitement over his side's performance in the CAF Africa Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 2023 despite their exit in the quarterfinals. After losing to Nigeria in the quarterfinals on Friday evening, Angola coach Pedro Goncalves made no secret of his administration for the system his opponents had put in place to defeat them. He said after the game, "I would like to congratulate the Nigerian team. They are very strong and the coach has put in place a solid system. They deserved the victory." The Palancas Negras boss also touched on the details that his charges lacked in the game against the Super Eagles. He stated that they could have won because his side fought for the whole 90 minutes. He added that the team felt sorry for themselves after conceding the goal, explaining that they had chances to score but did not take them. Two of Africa's greatest footballing nations come head-to-head on Wednesday to battle it out for a place in the final of the 2023 CAF Africa Cup of Nations. The Super Eagles have seen a fierce competition in the shape of Angola and Cameroon, while Bafana defeated Morocco and Cabo Verde to reach the semi-finals. Despite spending 30 years banned from the competition due to apartheid, South Africa has since emerged as a footballing powerhouse. They were crowned African champions at their inaugural tournament in 1996 and went on to finish second and third in 1998 and 2000. Bafana failed to qualify for the 2021 edition of the competition and will be keen to make up for lost time this year. Out of 7 final appearances, Nigeria have been crowned African champions on 3 occasions. The Super Eagles have also finished third on 8 occasions, and most recently in 2019. It has now been over 10 years since Nigeria has lifted the AFCON trophy. With reigning champions Senegal and record holders Egypt both out of the competition, Nigeria boss Jose Peseiro will be eyeing up victory for his side. Ahead of the much-anticipated semi-final encounter, let us take a look back on the head-to-head history of Nigeria and South Africa. The two sides have come face-to-face 14 times, with the first fixture coming in 1992. They last met at the 2019 edition of AFCON held in Egypt. Both sides qualified for the round of 16, with Nigeria finishing second of Group B and South Africa finishing third in Group D. Bafana met host Egypt in the round of 16 and beat them 1-0, whilst the Super Eagles overcame Cameroon with a 3-2 victory thanks to a winning goal from Alex Iwobi. The sides then found themselves head-to-head in the quarterfinals, battling it out for a place in the Final Four. A first-half goal from Samuel Chukwueze set Nigeria up nicely before Bongani Zungu equalized with 20 minutes to play. However, it was the Super Eagles who emerged victorious as William Troost Ekong netted a last-minute winner. Nigeria went on to lose 2-1 to eventual champions Algeria in the semi-finals, but secured a third-place finish with a 1-0 win over Tunisia. The quarter-final meeting was South Africa's last AFCON fixture for 4 years, following their failure to qualify for the 2021 edition of the competition. Nigeria currently comes out on top when it comes to head-to-head performances, having won 7 games, drawn 5, and lost just 2. That's AFCON updates.
To end the news, a look at the recap. Benue State Education Quality Assurance Agency has directed school principals to refund excess examination charges. Chief Area Traditional Council demands enforcement of the law prohibiting open grazing in Benue State. Federal Ministry of Health Monday asks medical facilities to comply with treatment of gunshot victims. Kenyan cult leaders standing on trial for alleged murder of 200 followers. That was the news as produced by the editorial team led by Nathaniel Nongo. I am Oyiman. Say good evening.